become very protective.
Mm.
And the protection is not so much that I fear losing the trophy, but it's this issue around this trophy is now starting to expose my own insecurities that I have. And that often leads to situations of violence.
Absolutely.
And I think, I mean, as I like, you know, a lot what Upside was saying around, you know, having that conversation with your partner to realize that, you know, I've been socialized to view her in a particular way, and it is so limiting that it would, if I were to continue moving in this path, it would limit the types of conversations that I would be having with my wife.
With your wife, absolutely.
It would limit my ability to genuinely get to know my partner beyond, you know, her body, beyond her looks.
Absolutely.
And imagine the damage and the harm that I would be doing to my wife because I would constantly require of her to look in a certain way.
Yes.
Now my wife she's gotten pregnant, she's given a child, body shape changes. What does that then mean for my desire for her? Does that then change? And what do I then do? Do I then lose interest in her and go and look for another person that I need to go and sexually objectify to meet my little ego? And I just feel, in that sense, for me, it's the greatest injustice that we're doing towards ourselves and towards women.
Absolutely. Ben?
Yeah. No, I just want to add onto this, because we also, I think it's about really relating to women from human to human.
Yes.
And the one piece that we are kind of talking about but not going into, and I kind of am tempted to go into it, is the actual sex or sexual, sensual relationship. Because the one thing as young boys, when we have porn, when we have these images in mind and so forth, we still don't learn how to actually connect. And I remember, and that's now a bit embarrassing to share, but I think at the age of 16, 17, I had a first girlfriend, so to say. Like, didn't work out for very long, and then we were I think at her place, and I really felt like wanting to touch her breast, but I had no clue how to do that. So I kind of like did this and kind of, and she obviously didn't like it, and the relationship didn't last long. So at some point I tried calling her, but then she wouldn't pick up, and then my older sister kind of just explained to me that, you know, that's
what you did.
It has ended. But then my greatest teacher was then the first love that I had, like the first real love. She was 1.5 years older than me. And when we first started dating and kind of fell in love, there was one thing that she revealed when we started becoming intimate. We didn't have sex, but kind of just, you know, spending time. And I think this is one thing to all parents out there. Allow your kids to have that partner over. I know it's a taboo, but rather let your child have the first sensual experiences in a safe space rather than in the backseat of a car or behind the bushes or wherever.
Yes.
Because that's just whoosh whoosh, let's quickly do this. But if you allow that space, there's a sensuality, sensing and not that sex. Anyhow, so she then shared with me that she actually was sexually abused by her piano teacher over 3 years when she was between 10 and 12 years old. And that she really, having sex is a real big thing for her, and it's not so easy because of that experience. And actually that led us to really taking 3 months time before we actually crossed that line. And I kind of was like, okay, then you tell me when you're ready. And we did all kinds of other things before that. And I feel that taught me so much about sensuality, what is there besides the just do this.
And the different forms of intimacy which you've also mentioned with the massage.
So that's what I meant with, yes, porn is one source, and it's not really it's very exciting and all of that. But there's so much more if you come into real encounters, and I'm sharing this now to just highlight that we don't really have much teachings around real, how do you sensually connect? Do we have that with our partners and so forth? I'm married now also for over 10 years. And there is really something really beautiful in just cuddling next to one another, or the smell of the other person just next to you, and where you feel like, wow, there is that connection. So I think that's where I feel there's little teaching in society, or little opportunity for young boys or girls for that matter, to learn how to connect sensually, sexually. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Adriano, but I will have to connect some words to that.
Yeah.
Because you see, as he speaks, you realize many things why we have a broken society, why we have broken homes, broken relationships.
Yeah.
Because we don't have this, we did not learn, or we were not exposed yet to this type of circumstances, and then that's why you find people who are not committed. Commitment comes from such experiences. Commitment comes from such understanding. Sometimes I don't need to experience that to understand the importance of commitment, and it's only with commitment that that you have other elements also, because it goes down to the umbrella, which is about respect.
Yeah.
And that respect, it's where you have all this commitment, loyalties, and all these other good elements that keeps a relationship together. We don't have that today, and it goes back to sexual objectification, because if there is a trophy, if there is a trophy, I can compete in any other competition.
Yeah.
After all, they are just trophies.
Absolutely.
So why should I be committed to this one trophy? I don't want one trophy.
Exactly.
I want more trophies.
And there is such a norm, especially with young boys.
Yes. I want to show that I'm a man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And even bringing that back to just quickly to the sexual interaction you have then with that person.
Yes.
That you kind of, there was a funny German movie where you had a scene where there was they were having sex and he was looking into the mirror doing that, and he was kind of having sex with that woman, but kind of looking at himself. Kind of
in the mirror.
Oh, I'm doing well. I performed. And this kind of really is one of the dangers in this objectification, is we don't care about the other person.
Yes.
Yeah.
How they're doing.
care.
There's no care, absolutely. I love what you just mentioned now, Ben, and especially around, creating safe spaces, and maybe to add on to that. Now, this leads me into our next question, and I think it's so imperative with sexual objectification of women, and I'm going to ask you, James, what has made you stop, or what has propelled you to stop, and what are some of the steps you took to stop sexual objectifying women?
I once, and quite interestingly, I've never, since childhood, teenage years, varsity years, I'd never once paused to stop to think about, the different roles that women occupy in our society, other than the fact that they were merely seen as sex objects.
Yeah.
And I think, I once had a conversation in a group setting, and the words that struck at my very core was when someone told me that, the person you are objectifying, or the person that you are sexually harassing, if you look at that person, that woman there, she could be someone's mother. She could be someone's aunt. She could be someone's daughter. She could be someone's niece, someone's cousins.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think in the first episode, I come from a matriarchal family, so we have, a lot of powerful women in our society. So I thought about them, and the thought that they would be going through these experiences, especially my younger sister, it hit the core with me. And immediately I was then able to realize that I wouldn't want my sister to experience the things that I am doing and thinking about other women. And also at some point I realized that, I was a serial monogamist, and I was also engaged in multiple concurrent sexual relationships, all to try and sort of meet that sexual desire that I had. And I like what Ben said, that, perhaps it wasn't even a sexual need that I had. It was just the fact that I was really yearning for intimacy. Yeah. And I like the analogy that intimacy doesn't have to be, a penetrative sex. There are different ways in which a person can explore intimacy.
Absolutely.
And I started questioning myself. And I think the question I asked myself was, should I decide one day to get married, will I really be able to have a meaningful relationship outside of sex with my partner?
Yeah.
Because I know that if the relationship is predominantly or purely just about sex, surely that relationship will not be sustained. And I became worried at the level of relationships that I was having with other women, even with friends. That the minute I have a friend who's of the opposite sex, the idea was, how long can I endure with this friendship? And even though she's in a relationship, can I sit on the sidelines until she goes through a breakup or some disappointment in her life, and then I play on her vulnerability so that I can get the opportunity to have sex with her.
As opposed to just appreciating the friendship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then to realize, but this is another human being. It's a human being. She's a human being that has these many wonderful ideas.
Yeah.
She's funny. She's caring. She's genuine. You know, we can relate on so many different aspects, and I can learn so much from her. And it's it's a wonderful person to have a friendship with.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of my motivations that drove me from, going through a process of sexual objectifying women to actually learning to see women as human beings.
Yeah.
See a woman the way that you would want to have yourself seen.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to just be seen as some kind of a
Sexual object.
sex object.
Yeah.
You would want a person to realize and to actually you venture on a journey to get to know who is the James that's inside this body.
Yeah.
And I think that for me brings about the depth of the quality in terms of the relationships that we have. And I think men have been scarred because for the longest time we're taught that we cannot relate to women at that level of depth.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're being intimate right now.
Yeah. Abisai, very quick, short and sweet. Last words for you.
Yeah,
so
thank
especially men, to stop objectifying women. Very short and sweet.
Yes, no, thank you very much. Look, for my last words, I would want to touch on a broad point, but I want to make it narrow. And that is all men who are listening to us right now. What is important is for them to understand that the culture that we as men have been conducting ourselves towards women sexually.
Yeah.
It's sexual objectification, and it is discrimination. It is disrespectful. It shows lack of appreciation, and there are so many negative words I could put there, but I want to bring it into the context of realization that sexual objectification, I want to bring it in the context of interpreting gender equality.
Yeah.
Gender equality simply means about equality in rights between of both men and women.
Yeah.
And when you talk about this equalities in rights, you are talking about many things, opportunities in life, and all this, be it in leadership, be it in employment, be it in education, be it in ownership of property, or enjoyment of life in general.
Absolutely.
So on that basis, discrimination comes in there, because if I can give you an example, and I hope all men, especially those men who are in positions in companies, whether public or private, they should realize that because of sexual objectification of women, women are discriminated on the basis of development. Develop being that if I'm to promote James, say for example we are in the police force, to give him an inspector rank, I will give it to him. He's my fellow man. But for another, for a female, for example, for me to give her that rank, I would want to have sex with her before I can promote her. Be it maybe for me to make her a manager, I would want something sexually with her. For me, so at the end of the day, it sabotages the progress and development of women, with which we are saying all people have equal rights to grow.
Absolutely.
So, but now women are not actually excelling in these areas because of sexual objectification.
Abisai, thank you so much for that one.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
James, very short and sweet last words from you.
I just think, my message for men out there would be that we as men are limiting ourselves. And that for as long as you allow, your mind to constantly sexually objectify women, if you can't see women outside of their bodies, it is limiting your ability to have a meaningful, healthy way of relating to women.
Yeah.
And it will definitely have an impact on your ability to have healthy, intimate relationships.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I would even go the further step that if, when we talk about sexual violence, and then, when I say sexual violence, I'm talking about sexual harassment, I'm talking about rape, and I would put a bold statement out there that men who allow themselves to only see women for their outward appearance, or men who only see women as sexual objects, they would be at an increased likelihood to become perpetrators of sexual violence. So there's an increased likelihood for them to become rapists. There's an increased likelihood for them to be the type of men who catcall women, who sexually harass women, who have no regard for women at all. And I think the big focus for us would be, as a man, you know, think about the woman out there that you are sexually objectifying as someone meaningful in someone else's life. That could be someone's, it could be someone's mother. Would you want your mother to be sexually objectified? It could be someone's aunt. Would you want someone to sexually objectify your aunt? It could be
your
someone's sister. You want someone to sexually objectify your sister. It could be your daughter. You want someone to sexually objectify your daughter. No, I don't think so. So then don't do it.
Thank you so much for that, James. Ben, last words from you?
I think that it's a process. I'm just sitting here realizing I'm 43 years old. I had a lot of learnings in the past, and I'm realizing as I'm listening to James what you just said now, and Abisai, and you, that I'm asking myself, how much am I really living fully what I'm saying, or what we are saying now? So it is a process, and I think I said last time that we are living in a society around the globe of thousands of years of male-dominated culture. So none of us sitting here is perfect, and I'm realizing that for myself, that it is still a process, and some of the things I'm saying here, I still need to incorporate much more in my life and expand spaces of intimacy and see where I can take off some of the masks that I've been taught to wear and become more vulnerable, become more intimate, because it ultimately really says what James said, creates a healthy relationship. And that's so good for me. So there's a very egoistic reason why we should stop as men objectifying women, because it's at the end of the day not good for us.
Thank you so much for that, Ben. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on this panel. And as Ben has said, it's a process. As men, if you want to become vulnerable, if you want to have a healthy relationship, make sure that you get to visit our page right here. It's Regain Trust, where you can also get in touch with a counselor. The help is there to seek. Also, simply just ask a friend. You can even get in touch with the gentleman on the panel as well, where they can assist you as well. Thank you so much to Regain Trust. Thank you so much to Men Engage Men Namibia Network, as well as the United Nations Population Fund. My name is Adriano Fisachi. Until next time.
Namibia is known for its beautiful wide open landscapes. However, these deserted spaces also pose numerous educational challenges in our country's rural areas. Because of this, many learners are denied access to proper teaching and learning. At Eduvision, we believe that education is the starting point to a journey of endless possibilities.
And very soon, we are going to see e-learning. Soon and very soon, we are going to...
The plan for Eduvision was to identify areas in Namibia that do not have the proper learning resources, a working school or an education center.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, we are going to see e-learning. No more dieting, no more dieting.
My name is Philip Smith. I'm the principal of Educate Academy in Otjiwarongo. The project EduVision, the e-learning program, started in 2017. With a project like this, obviously telecommunication, internet connection is a major thing that needs to be sorted out, a logistical challenge. And the fact that we chose Chunkwe Secondary School as the first school didn't make it easier for ourselves. It's very far from Otjiwarongo, it's far from Buntuk. So the internet connection was a big challenge first of all. So with the help of the telecommunications expert Paratus, they made this dream come true with internet connections via Buntuk, Otjiwarongo to Chunkwe and then back, the whole process. Like I said, it's interactive whiteboard, so the internet speed, capacity of the connectivity and so forth plays a major role. And so Paratus made this dream come true, and they were on board from the first moment. So very grateful for Paratus.
The project offers teaching assistance of a high standard in science to rural secondary schools within the learner's own community by means of e-learning. This entails the following: live transmissions of lessons from an equipped teacher in a different location to the students in rural areas, students using their own cell phone, tablet or computer to recall each lesson, and interactive lessons, as well as the use of a smartboard as a teaching aid.
So if you look ahead at the next 3 years, we get information from the Ministry of Education. The future is very bright. So I think there's a lot of schools who can benefit from this program. Like I mentioned before, finances obviously plays a major role in a project like this. So we're very thankful for all the sponsors that are on board and still on board after almost 3 years of the project. So as long as people from the private sector can get involved, I think we can reach many schools in Namibia, because this project made a good start now. We're already seeing some positive results, and we can just call on all the private sector corporate sponsors to come on board and join in this very, very positive project.
It is eduvision's goal to prepare and guide learners in order to make the modern world they are living in accessible to all.
My name is Magdalena Neoma. I'm 18 years old and I'm doing my first year at UNAM Command campus, and I completed my grade 12 at Tsungwe Senior Secondary School. I'm doing education, so I'm gonna teach at Tsungwe Secondary School, because there I really need to go there and motivate the learners. Eduvision helped me a lot. It assisted us in teaching for mathematics, physical science, and biology. And it also, we get to exchange learning from other schools like Educate, whereby they teach us, and that's the most thing that we benefited from. Studying without eduvision was so challenging. And when eduvision was introduced at our school, things become more easier. The time where eduvision was not introduced, we were so slow in learning. And when eduvision introduced at our school, my learning speed increases. Things were kind of boring, and when eduvision came, my mind changed the way I think. I'm really grateful for what eduvision gave us. Our class of 2019 was the first group to make it to perform very well at Tsungwe Senior Secondary School. So it should keep up the spirit. We need that it should continue to support us.
Eduvision aspires to ensure that equal opportunity is offered to every learner in rural areas to tap into his or her own potential while working in an environment which views disadvantages not as obstacles but as unique attributes that can be regarded as powerful assets when given the proper opportunity. At Eduvision, we believe that dreams are the foundation of knowledge and hope always triumphs over experience.
No more problems. Everything is proper.
Chikoko Oshikano Patura eso ta kongola Ala kweta yo chile bakala mwale ya luchano man Yesu no wapen Koko Yesu sota kongola Koko Yesu sota kongola Ngola, 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 Jesus sota kongola. Koko, 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 ta kongola. Koko, 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 ta kongola. Ngola, 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 Jesus Kongola, I will praise you till the sun goes down. I will praise you till the sun goes down. I will praise you till the sun goes down. I will praise you till the sun goes down. Yeah.
Mombasa.